Right everybody, how's my autofocus? So the topic of today's video is the autofocus using the Sigma 50mm lens, which is currently recording us right now, and using the Panasonic S1. Now we are in autofocus continuous mode today, and it's a beautiful sunny day. The aperture is at f1, my ND filter is turned up to the max. I'm filming in the natural colour profile, and yeah, we're in f1.4, I've just said that, haven't I? So we're going to put the lens to the test today, and we're going to film a few sequences where the camera's going to be locked off like this, and I'm going to be walking up and down my garden and testing out how well it does. So we're going to be using the eye body detect function, and I'm also going to do some footage with the camera in tracking mode as well, just to really put it through its paces. So this is by no means a scientific autofocus test, but hopefully we'll get some good results that you'll be able to review over and come to your own conclusions with as well. It's a little bit windy today, so I apologise if the microphone is currently picking up any wind. It's coming from that direction, so straight onto this microphone. But right, I'm going to get straight into my conclusions. So after reviewing the footage, I was actually quite impressed. I think I should sort of start off at this point and say that I'm by no means an autofocus filmmaker. I actually never use it myself. I always stick to manual focus. So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised actually with some of the footage, but one thing I am going to take away from using the autofocus feature in this respect is it's a little bit unreliable for me still. So I can see where the forums are going, because I've read quite a few people's comments where they say that the autofocus isn't reliable, and I can kind of see where they're coming from. But I was pleasantly surprised at the f1.4 range, especially when I was walking to camera. I was walking at a general pace. I wasn't really rushing and I wasn't walking too slowly. And although it did have a few hiccups, when I left the settings alone, so I left the autofocus continuous mode set to 0, because you can alter the settings, I found it actually worked better. So you'll notice some of the footage was set to speed 3 and sensitivity and things like that, and I found that those were the most unreliable. But when it was left on 0, in its default settings, I suppose, I found the footage to be quite well, more reliable. Where I found that there was less reliability was in the tracking modes. So I found that there was two trade-offs, or a couple of trade-offs. So in the face eye detect, if I turned around and walked away, it would basically go out of focus, blow out of focus when I had my back to the camera. When I was in tracking mode, that didn't happen, but I felt as if the tracking mode struggled to actually track me, even though there was a box around me throughout the whole process. So again, could be a firmware issue, I'm not too sure, but I wasn't really happy about that. So both of those modes really don't come across well for me in that respect. I think, yeah, generally speaking, I also thought that the aperture 5.6 tests were going to be better than the 1.4, but I don't know what you think about that footage, but I still think that it did better in 1.4. And then at the end, where it's just in the tracking modes, you can really kind of see what I was saying earlier about it not really tracking me and it being a little bit more unpredictable. So yeah, I think I'm quite happy with the results that I did get though, and I'll definitely be thinking of using autofocus a little bit more, potentially in these vlog situations, because right now it's doing quite well, just me talking to camera, and it's in the autofocus continuous right now. I also noticed quite a lot that it picks up the pulsing in the background. It's constantly pulsing, so that was an issue with the GH5, which I think is still an issue here with the S1. But yeah, tell me what you think of the footage in the comments section below. I'd be interested to find out what you gathered from the footage. One thing I did discover is that I could have spent more time doing this. So as soon as I started diving into the features, I realised that this video could have been extremely long. So I've tried to keep it as short as possible. Also today, tell me what you think of the audio. So I've changed my audio setup from last week's or the previous video. And yeah, please join me for the next video. If you liked this video, please subscribe, consider subscribing and like the video. That goes a long way, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much.